Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. Today I would like to go into briefly about the concept of kindness and wrath in the Kabbalah. So kindness and wrath, which these are on the Tree of Life. These are Chesed and Geburah. And the balance between wrath and kindness is Tiphareth, which means beauty or harmony. Now, this is a hard thing for a lot of people, Jew and Christian alike, and people that study Judaism or Christianity, that the harsher, wrathful side of God is a hard thing for many people to fathom, to accept. You know, a lot of people criticize the harsher aspects of God. I hang out with people from a lot of different religions, and a lot of times I'll hear pagans, neo-pagans, tell me, that God's harsh in there, and He does this in Leviticus, and this person will be put to death. Now, these harsher aspects of the Bible, like Sodom and Gomorrah and all of that, a lot of Christians tend to shield their eyes from that and just look at the loving, kind aspect. They don't want to see that. They want to see the good part, or what they think of as that. And a lot of neo-pagans will say, well, how come all of that happens? You're pagan. The pagan gods were a lot more bloodthirsty than Adonai. Zeus would strike people down. Thunderbolts. You had a lot of deities, pagan deities, were the same way. Now, why would a theology evolve harsher aspects of deity? Well, you see harshness in the world. If there is a first cause and there's harshness in the world, then either we're at odds with the divine or it stems from the divine. So there's that. Now, in Judaism, they look at God as a balance. In Christianity, a lot of Christians tend to play down the harsh aspects. No, God's all love. God is love and kindness. They tend to shield their eyes. It's impossible to read the Bible and not see harsher aspects to God. Unless you want to skip some places, it's very obvious. You have Sodom and Gomorrah. There are a lot of places where God's like, smite them. And it's a hard thing for a lot of people. Instead of looking at God as all love and kind, Judaism focuses on balance in God. The balance of light and dark. The book of Isaiah makes it very clear that God is the creator of life and death. God is the creator of the light and the darkness. God is the creator of good and evil. Very clear in the Bible. So in Judaism, God has wrath and all of that, harsher aspects to God. This is called Geburah. Geburah. And then you have the loving, kind aspect to God. The loving Father. This is Chesed. And so you have the loving, kind part of God, Chesed, and then you have the wrath, Geburah, and in between these is Tiphareth, beauty or harmony. So the balance between God's wrathful and loving aspects plays a major role in Judaism and in the Kabbalah. So you have both sides of deity. You know, you could look out there in the world and see that there's kindness and harshness. And, you know, so you see that in the universe. It reflects within deity, and it's also a part of us. And so you have this idea that God isn't just peaches and roses sometimes. God, when you're dealing with deity, you are dealing with the all. You're dealing with the absolute. You are dealing with the tremendous power, the raw energy, the indescribable. You know, you're dealing with something that is, I don't even know how to say this. Basically, God is not going to just fit your concepts of goodness and all of that. Within God is the light and the darkness, and it's about balance between the two. Now, the Tree of Life represents God, it represents the universe, and it represents man. But in regard to God, Chesed is the loving kind aspect of God, and Geburah is the wrath aspect of God, and in between these is Tiphareth, beauty or harmony. Within the universe, where do you see these? Well, there's a lot of beauty in the world. There's a lot of really wonderful, great things in the world. There's life. There's birds singing. You know, there's a lot of really good things in nature. But sometimes nature is harsh. Sometimes Mother Nature is harsh. You have tsunamis. You have earthquakes. You have tornadoes. You have tsunamis. You have destruction. Things live and then they grow old and die. So from the Kabbalistic concept, nature has tsunamis and earthquakes. Nature has really kind, good, positive things, chesed, and sometimes nature, Mother Nature is harsh, Geburah. And in the Kabbalistic idea, things start with deity, and it condenses into a lower level nature, and then it comes down to us as the microcosm. So what is found within us, what is found within nature is within God. So if there's an earthquake, it's Mother Nature, but it filters down from above to below. And of course, going up the Tree of Life, it's the below going up. So as above, so below. So within God is Chesed, loving kind, and Geburah, the harsh wrath, the terrible, tremendous, burst into flames type of thing. And then in nature, in the universe, you see that stars are born and stars die. You see things live and then they grow old and die. You see greenery and then you see wildfire. So in Mother Nature you see these things. Now, so the Tree of Life represents the universal pattern, the universal blueprint. It shows the forces within God, within the universe, and within man. Now, how about within us, within man? And this is another thing that's hard for people to grasp. Chesed is that part of your psyche that is kind and loving and good to others and giving. That's Chesed. Geburah is your aggression and anger and dominion and assertiveness. So as it is within deity, within the cosmos, it is within man. because man is a perfect microcosm, a reflection of above. So, within people, there is the loving, and then there's harsh. People are harsh. You are harsh. I am harsh sometimes. And that harshness, that anger, that aggression is Geburah. And your love and kindness and being giving to one another is Chesed. Now, in Christianity, there's the idea that if someone steals from you, give them your shirt also. Give them the shirt off your back also. And if someone strikes you, turn a cheek. Give them the other cheek also. Of course, that's a metaphor. It's not literal, probably. But in Judaism, it's different. Now, in the bedtime Shema, the bedtime Shema, I use the art scroll Siddur. In Orthodox Judaism, you forgive iniquity for anyone that's trespassed against you in this life or any other. Even though you're supposed to forgive your neighbors, sometimes we have to be harsh. Sometimes we as individuals have to be harsh with others. For example, let's say that your next door neighbor borrows $20. Your next door neighbor knocks on the door. Hey dude, can I borrow $20? Sure. You get out your wallet and you give your neighbor $20. That's a chesed. There you go. And let's say that he never pays you back, and here he comes again knocking on the door. Can I borrow $5? You give him $5. If he never pays, that's chesed. If he never pays you back, eventually there's a point where you say, look, you never paid me back. I'm not giving you any more money, and I'm going to need that money back. That's Geburah. That's your aggression. That's being assertive. So within man, these have to do with your inner forces, your loving kindness, and your aggression, your assertiveness. You can't just be all passive and submissive all the time, because then people will run all over you. They will walk all over you. Let's say that someone breaks into your house and there is someone raping your wife. What do? What is the right thing to do if someone's raping your wife? Do you go up and tap them on the shoulder and say, excuse me, sir, I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't do that, No. You get a gun and you shoot them in the head. Some people, they don't believe in war. Oh, I don't believe in war. World peace. World peace is a really great idea. It's great. But if another country wants to invade your country and you don't fight them, then they're going to take you over. So sometimes we have to be harsh. Christianity seems to downplay that whole harsh aspect, but unbalanced mercy is to allow evil to exist. Sometimes you have to be harsh. Think of a judge and a jury. The judge has to reward and punish. Let's say you have a child. I'm sure some of my viewers have children. If you give your son everything he wants all the time, chesed, then he's going to be a spoiled brat. Sometimes you have to be harsh, and that's Geburah. So chesed is loving kindness, Geburah is harshness, and it deals with those aspects of deity, loving and harsh. Nature is loving and harsh, and within us is loving and harsh. And mysticism isn't just about ascent to God. It's also about rearranging and reintegrating the forces within you to make yourself become whole and complete. So anyways, just some ideas. Thank you for joining me. Once again, this is Taliesin McKnight. And study hard, y'all.